Hey, Anuki here. If you'd like more Co games, show your support on Twitch or join the Discord. Now Jenkins, introduce the commanders, please.
Ah, absolutely, Inuki. Starting with the Allies, we've got our lad, Reakly, a fine chap. From the British forces he is, clad in blue, and positioned in the south. Now Reakly, he once served alongside me in a daring rescue mission above the cliffs of Dover.
Oh.
The old bean single-handedly saved a group of nuns from a stray V-2 rocket, sent it off into the sea with a cricket bat, if you can believe it. Now, moving on to the chap in red, we have FeriG, hailing from the Afrika Corps, positioned up north. Not as familiar with FeriG as I'd like. Word is he once tried to hold a tea party, but ended up boiling the kettle too long and melted it. Ended up with cold tea. Not sure how one messes up a tea party, but there you have it. Let's hope he's a better commander than a tea maker, eh? Here's hoping we have a cracking game today.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that. I remember Reakly using a cricket bat to swat away a V2 rocket to save some nuns. I can definitely vouch for that, and it's certainly plausible. Right, the map is Pacino. It is also one of my favorite maps. I like this little settlement in the middle. I like that there's these random citizens that are just having a conversation in this wrecked village, totally unconcerned, maybe waiting for the church to open for the day because it's potentially Sunday and that's what they want to do. I think these are some top players as well. I think they're in the top 10. So you can see that they're spaced out. They like to capture territory. They know what they're doing. And once they know what they're doing, I want to know more about this map, Pacino, Jenkins. Would you mind telling me some more? You better. So we've got the sappers on the side of the map. Very important on the positioning of where you're going to put your sappers. And then the rifle or the infantry section can help either sapper squad, should they fall into engagements.
Oh, absolutely, Inuki. Pacino, a conundrum wrapped in an enigma, this map is. I remember once when Commander Wonky Moustache Hodgins sent me on a mission here. The old man had lost his spectacles and was convinced those damn Jerrys had nabbed them. Operation Eyewear Recovery, he called it. So off I went on my merry way. Crawling around fields, searching for a pair of spectacles by the southern stream. Heavy combat in the north, you see. Didn't want me pretty head to get blown off. Funny thing was, after rummaging around like a mole for hours, I radioed in to inform him I hadn't found a bloody thing. Turns out, the specs were hanging off his tie the whole time. Nearly fell into that river from laughing so hard. All's well that ends well though, ain't it? And I even bagged a souvenir, a single German Luger that I found lodged in a haystack. How about that, eh?
Yeah, I feel so much more informed about Pacino now. Great. We know all the strategic locations. You know, Jenkins is supposed to tell me more about, like, the victory points and interesting parts of the map. Instead, we just get this full tale of some kind of wacky adventure that happened. Anywho, I mean, I suppose I can tell you about that stuff. There's lots of buildings around the central victory point. We know that. We can see that. We've got glasses on our eyes, or maybe we just have eyes that don't need glasses. Either way, it does create some problems in this map that you need to tackle differently to open ground. So we'll usually see the need for some kind of artillery to get people out of these buildings, or, you know, grenades and stuff. There's lots of ways to tackle it. Flamethrowers are obviously a good choice. But it does mean that sometimes there's a high concentration around this central victory point just because vision is so obscured by the buildings. But as for the sides and the flanks, you know, mines are a good way to hold them down. We don't see too many heavy engagements on the sides, but when we do, they're usually high casualties. There's not much to hide behind, like 15 minutes in the game when all the tractors have blown up.
The fuel point is being taken from us.
Which, by the way, do make very good mine locations. Like, putting mine locations next to heavy cover can be pretty good if you don't plan to use that heavy cover. Going deep into enemy territory. Even trying to build some sandbags down here. That's so bold. Building sandbags on the enemy side of the map. I know that they wouldn't be able to use that if they did successfully build that. But that's just like, yeah, I plan to stay here for a little bit. Pigran's grouping up, requesting some fire support from the motorcycle. They reposition to try and put themselves into better directional cover. Reinforcements have arrived, equalizing things out. We do have that sneaky assault grenadier squad, though, that we will need to be very aware of because they're going to move in. And look, that distance is already quite optimal for them. They like that. That's good range.
Starting requisition of light support elements.
Gonna try and chase the other infantry section. Motorcycle keeping in range. Providing that combined arms bonus that you see above the assault infantry.
Point is being neutralized by the enemy.
Meanwhile, strategic point being captured here, which will cut off the bottom of the map, +10 fuel and the +10 munitions as well. You can tell I'm getting out of breath. I'm like 9 games in, 10 games in. Whew, I told you, I need to pace myself. Sometimes, though, Company of Heroes just speaks for itself. It has to. Take a delightful drink. Holding out in the buildings. I don't find this church building too useful at times, but if they're on the right-hand side of the map, you've got a few good windows to fire out of. It's like really clever map design, the positioning of this church. Because you don't always find, like, the good window shots that you want. So it's not as overpowered as some people might initially think. Like, oh, you've got a big church building on your side with lots of windows. But those windows don't point in the directions you truly, truly want. Seems like FeriG is holding out decently on multiple fronts. On the far side of the map, where we're not spectating right now, there is a lone, what I assume, sapper squad just going around capturing stuff. Moving the long-range engagements. Infantry sections are holding out very well. You know, remember, one of those squads only has 3, and they got short-range weapons. Ball played there by Reakly. And sappers still very brave. They're the bravest sappers I've ever seen, chasing down the Panzer Pioneers into enemy territory. Knowing that there was a big retreat on the other side of the map, that they could take that risk. What's their next objective, though? Possibly to repair the Humber armored car. It's already sustained some damage. Trying to finish those sandbags off. Look, it pulled 2 Panzer Grenadier squads over onto this side of the map, which means their venture back into the middle of the map, you know, is longer. They move out here, though, in force. They're going to be met with some force from the British. Mines down on the choke. Very good place for mines. Anywhere where there's chokes, you've got to be very wary of traveling around. Might step on one of those things. Let's see how Reakly wants to handle this situation. There's a lot of infantry in there. They do have the nearby reinforcements. Are they just going to go for a battle of endurance? 6-pounder back there as well. I think it was trying to get a position on the motorcycle, or at least denying the motorcycle some of its movement. Oh, here we go. Here comes the L6s. Both with the flamethrowers. This won't survive too long against the fumes. And I think that's going to be stolen as well. Oh, not if the Humber has anything to say for it. If they can destroy the 250 carrier, it means it can't tow. Just everyone's running in every direction. Okay, it's just left on the ground for now. A lot of the bushes are burning. We're just going to pick up the AT gun and walk it back instead. Possibly fire on the Humber. Ooh, devastating hit. Humber gets away with 11 health. Oh, and then the AT gun steps on a mine. That's unfortunate. Got some AT rifles. These guys have some boots of flaming speed by the looks of things. Ah, it's been so long since I've seen a medic truck from the British. I feel like all these strats have been dampened down to the point where people don't want to use those things anymore. They're definitely prevalent in larger games. I wonder if we see them more in 2v2s. Humber providing fire support for the Sapper squad. Unfortunately, that Assault Grenadier squad is behind heavy cover. So much directional cover. Not a problem to hold out. I like that. They do end up retreating. Along with the Panzer Grenadier squad back here that decapped the fuel point. Most of the action seems to be happening on the left-hand side of the map now. Sapper squad chasing the minesweepers. Not sure what the motorcycle wants to do in this situation. Great use of the building there to draw them in very close. Get them all grouped up. Spread the flame. In this situation, because the L6s have been upgraded, the Humber is fantastic at dealing with them. Flames don't hurt tanks. When are we going to learn? I think that's why we see some people opt to not double upgrade the L6s. Lost the motorcycle as well. Humber seems to be doing well trying to pick off the vehicles. We're going to see a squad wipe from the L6. Driving straight through. Oh my god, we got a Crusader AA here as well as 2 anti-tank guns. Considerable losses there for the Axis forces. I'm not sure what FeriG can do to really bring this back now that they have to deal with a Humber and a Crusader. And if they want to get a vehicle, if they want to get a tank out to try and deal with this mess, they've got to worry about 2 anti-tank guns on top of that as well. Out comes a Jaeger squad. Almost deals with the Humber. Humber drops smoke. I think very wisely. Oh, we got 2 Jaeger squads, in fact. That's actually not too bad. I think that can threaten the Crusader AA. But, you know, we've seen the situation in the inverse, where, like, someone has AT rifles against, like, a whirlwind. It's not great. Oh, sorry, a wobblewind. Crusader going for the reverse into the enemy Panzer Grenadiers. Or Assault Grenadiers. They're the same. Straight into the line of sight of the machine gun. See how much damage that can do. Yeah, decent, pretty decent. Definitely scary. Not worth sticking around for. You know, Humber can't really lend its assistance there either.
Enemy forces
So any infantry is welcome. MG repositioning to see if they go here or here. We don't know which side they want to go on, but we're covering for both. Very smart there from Reakly. In the meantime, there's an advance over on the front. Infantry section trying to hold out in the middle once this goes on. Double Jaegers forced to retreat. Humber thinking, oh, I can just pop up here. Drop a smoke in front of the AT gun. Infantry section in the middle has to retreat. Very daring. And it shows in the map control as well. So much cut off territory from acquiring this one strategic point.
A victory point is being taken from us.
FeriG is on their way back. Let's see what they can do in this next engagement. I think they kind of need to make this one a win. They do have the AT gun, a much needed tool. Not a bad time for a sticky that Humber will have to repair. Once it's out of action, maybe something can happen here.
Territory overrun.
They're really banking on having these Jaeger squads work together as one. Now they're trying to use the camouflage to sneak around. They do manage to get to the next bit of cover, but not in stealth. You can attempt to move from cover to cover to try and keep your Jaeger squads in stealth. That's something that is unique to them. There are other squads that can do that as well. But they're not present currently. Some building to building firing here.
We have command points that should be used.
See, Reakly has kind of just opted to give up ground here. Because they're not going to fight battles that they don't feel comfortable taking. Now, they might be able to win that battle, but they're going to wait until they feel like they know they can win that battle. And that is now. The positioning looks great. Humber is marking the ground. The accuracy is increased against these soldiers. Crusader and the Humber are going to get some shots off. Humber goes down from the AT gun. AT gun wonderfully covering as they retreat, but now it's a bit more awkward. Crusader blasting away at the 251. It should try and just like get some kind of good kill here rather than trying to get the perfect kill. They wanted the Jaegers more than anything. Will they lose the Crusader because of it? There's a sticky. That's going to slow it down. AT gun doesn't seem to be in range anymore. Oh, it's tight. It's tight. It's not the range that was the problem. It was the angle. It is taking some light vehicle damage, though. Just all this light vehicle fire. Oh, and the Jaeger there was was there too. Right at the back. Missed it. Unfortunate for Reakly. They wanted more, they got less. Panzer III up here against a heavy machine gun. I believe the Panzer III wins this one. Belief is enough. Got a mortar too. I always think it's great to have a mortar in your arsenal. Just like one mortar, even if it's just for like a smoke. You never know when smoking yourself might end up saving you a squad, or you'll probably need to smoke a point just to try and capture it because it's under heavy guard. FeriG capturing the victory point on the right. Reakly is very close by, though, and they can see everything that's going on around here. They can see the 250 carrier. They can see the Panzer III over here. They know exactly what they need to bring. Gonna try and focus down the assault grenadiers. Meanwhile, testing the waters around this strategic cutoff point, constantly pressuring that point, and that's what the mortar will help them do as well. Meanwhile, cutting through the middle of the road is a mechanized assault. We got some machine guns on these fellas as well. I think they're wanting to try and get rid of these AT guns, just driving right on up there. It's a good grenade there, slows down the half-track, destroys it, in fact, with the light arms fire afterwards. And it's just, this one squad is now tasked with taking out 2 anti-tank guns. Chasing them around, gonna use the smoke, interesting. We'll hide in there. The Panzer Grenadiers instead turn their eyes against the mortar squad, but then finds a Crusader AA waiting for them. And this is just too much stress for FeriG. There's just, I can't deal with this. I gotta get out of here. And I think it's the right time to bail. Sometimes your plan doesn't go to plan, and you just need to bail on the plan. They did manage to decap the victory point, I think. Always sending one squad, Reakly. It's gonna end up on that +5 point again.
Commandant, we have command points available to us.
So we do have battle group choices. We've got the heavy armor battle group for Reakly, so we're probably going to see a Black Prince out at some point. We've got the Italian infantry for FeriG. And stepping on mines as well, it seems. So I want to kind of see the field howitzer. I want to see the big explosions come out. It's not as good as the Obuche, sure, but... Moving over to the other side of the map now, I think we're going to get some big engagements, or relatively big engagements over here. There's that first Crusader AA wreck. I don't think these 250s are upgraded in any sense. They blow up so easy. Once again, FeriG being chased down. Now, I'll make no lie, those 250s are extraordinarily hard to keep alive. We're going to try and take out that Crusader with Jaegers as well. Just got to be careful of the infantry in the area, protecting the Crusader.
Our capture point is being neutralized by the enemy.
I do feel like that infantry support weapon would be nice here. It's not great for the center of the map, except for dislodging people out of buildings. That's actually pretty good. The problem is when they're behind the buildings and not inside of the buildings. That's when you can't really shoot them. You can still make use of all its functionality, though. There's always something in range. Crusader's in trouble. It's, again, on the wrong side of the map. It's just going to drive through the base whilst no one's here. It's probably one of the times where you want to retreat one squad just to try and get close enough. You'd retreat faster. Would be very handy if they had a 250 that they could just jump someone in. And then chase it down and get that final shot off. Does seem like it's gonna live. I think they're still trying to chase it. It's scot-free at this point.
We're losing grasp of a victory point. Proximity alarm near our victory
I gotta say, I think this map, or this match in particular, feels like a lot of firing at squads that are retreating more so than squads firing at each other in engagements. Heavy machine gun team for the Brits. Feeling like they can't hold out there much longer. Out they get, back to base. In comes the Churchill Black Prince heavy tank. Guarded by 2 6-pounders as well. Maybe you could strap them on the side and augment that Black Prince to have 3 turrets
Our
instead.
victory point is being neutralized by the enemy.
I'm sure the Queen could do it. Back to base. FeriG goes. Panzer III isn't going to fare well in that battle.
Victory point under enemy
2
control.
Panzer IIIs are not going to fare well in that battle. But you got to use everything at your disposal.
Heavy Obice barrages are available to devastate the
Yay, Obice barrages. Awesome, glorious. An Obice, I think, would do some damage to the Black Prince if it's a direct hit. It's a big artillery that fires. There goes the Crusader.
A capture point
The
is being
Jaegers have done
taken
very
over.
well. Now the Black Prince has really stepped foot into enemy territory. Got to be careful with this because it is very slow. The further you go into enemy territory, the harder it is to get back to your own territory. Double AT guns, though, already picking off some damage, or picking off some of the armor of the Panzer IIIs.
Victory point
It's just
lost.
action all over the place now. Black Prince is hunting, and it has found a meal. Sticky grenade goes off. That's going to make it hard for it to escape.
Enemy forces hold
Oh,
the
it just
victory
fires
point,
straight through that.
Commandant.
Meanwhile, Assault Grens, I think they've found a mortar squad, but they're not going to get the damage down that they need to kill it. They pull away. Panzer III on the other side of the map. You've got to make use of the time. Like, you know that Black Prince is on the eastern front right now. So you got to make your moves in the west. Whenever you've got the faster tank with lower armor, you got to just try and outmaneuver things. So this is a 1v1, so the players control all of the elements. So, you know, we've got 2 players. We've got FeriG and we have Reakly. And Reakly is controlling all of these elements. Reakly is the infantry, Reakly is the machine gun, Reakly is building the base back at home, Reakly is using all the abilities. You know, RTSs are very demanding. And I've talked about this. This is the mod that I want to kind of do. I want to make a role-based sort of Company of Heroes thing where one person controls the infantry, one person is like the special infantry, like the elite infantry, another is logistics, and another player is the armor. And they'd all have like their different perks and stuff like that. If you're playing armor, armor doesn't control many units, but there's a whole like tank micro element. There's quite a lot of depth into the micro. Well, more than you'd probably think. Not like a lot, but there is depth to the micro of tanks. And then like the infantry player would be supporting the armor player, and the logistics player would be the player that's like more at the back lines, and they've got the mortars. They're the only ones that can build sandbags and repair tanks and heal soldiers. The elite forces, well, I'd say the infantry first. The infantry, they control the most. So if you want to be the one that controls a lot of stuff, infantry might be for you. And, you know, they're the front lines, and then you've got the elite infantry that would also help with the front line stuff. But they're
We have lost control over victory point.
kind of like more specialized, almost more ability based. So they could call in like airstrikes.
Fire coordinates. Danger, close.
They would have officers and snipers. Oh, look at that building go. Good job nobody was in there. Oh, we're stepping on mines over here. We're missing the battle because we're looking at the Obice bombardment. Good grenade. Amazing cartwheel. 10 out of 10. Love the flip. Not so good on the landing. Oh, straight over under the mine, and that was a squad wipe.
Proximity alarm near our capture point.
And the infantry push up. Reakly seeming in dominant control. Oh, we got a flak 36 here. So flak 36 versus a Black Prince. fairly good odds. But how's one going to really come back from this? Because it's game over.
Hey, Vivi here. I edit and upload the videos here on Ironcast. If you want to see Anuki cast more, then like the video, leave a comment, subscribe, come along to the Discord, do anything to let him know. Anuki would love to cast more if you'd like to see more.